From Hollywood's golden years to today, few names carry the same mystery, power, and fascination as Clint Eastwood. The man famous for his steel-cold stare and that unforgettable voice was doing far more than acting. Behind the scenes, he was quietly building an empire. A fortune that came not just from fame, but from smart, fearless, and sometimes controversial decisions that only he could pull off. In this video, we're uncovering the hidden wealth of Clint Eastwood, and the emotional story behind how that fortune once brought tears to his own family. Because this isn't only a story about success. It's about secrets, loyalty, and the choices that even divided the people closest to him. While the world saw the unstoppable cowboy of Dirty Harry or the wise old man from Gran Torino, almost no one knew that off-screen, Clint was quietly stacking up millions in properties, investments, and business ventures, building a financial legacy that would shock even his own children. But what really happened when the truth about his money came to light? Why did some relatives feel betrayed, while others said he was a genius who planned everything perfectly? And here's the real kicker. Rumors say Clint left behind private letters revealing who truly deserved his fortune. Papers that were read only after his death. And what they exposed left everyone stunned. We're talking about hidden heirs, secret relationships, and emotional rifts that changed his family forever. What you're about to hear goes way beyond Hollywood. It's about what happens when fame, fortune, and family collide. Before we dive into this story, take a second to subscribe and hit the like button. It really helps more people find videos like this one. Every like and comment tells YouTube that this story is worth sharing, and that's what keeps this channel alive and independent. And if you want to go one step further, you can click the Super Thanks button to show your support. But if that's not possible right now, no problem. Just drop a comment below and tell us what surprised you the most about Clint's story. Your voice keeps this community going. Now, get ready, because what you're about to learn will completely change the way you see Clint Eastwood. From movie legend to master strategist, from beloved hero to a man surrounded by mystery and emotion, this is the story Hollywood never wanted you to know. And trust me, stay with me until the very end. The final twist will make you question everything you thought you knew about him. When Clint Eastwood first stepped into Hollywood, nobody could have guessed what was coming. He wasn't loud or flashy, just a calm young guy with a quiet confidence and a stare that seemed to read people's thoughts. Most saw another hopeful actor waiting for his lucky break. But Clint wasn't waiting for luck. Behind that stillness was a sharp mind already mapping out a plan that would outlast everyone else. What people later called charisma was really focus. What looked like distance was strategy. Clint didn't want to depend on anyone. Not agents, not producers, not studios. He wanted control. He understood early that fame opens doors, but ownership keeps them open. In those days, Hollywood was a glittering circus of money and egos. One hit could make you a star, one flop could ruin you. While others chased fame, Clint studied how fame worked. He read contracts, watched where the money flowed, and realized that the real winners weren't the actors. They were the ones who owned the work. That idea became his foundation. Then came the opportunity that changed everything. Not from a big studio, but from overseas. A small Italian director wanted to shoot a low-budget Western. Most American actors laughed at the idea. But Clint saw something others didn't. A chance to take a risk that could buy him freedom. He agreed to work for less money, but asked for something unusual. A share of the profits. For an unknown actor, that was almost unheard of. But that single choice would rewrite his future. The film was a fistful of dollars, and it became a phenomenon. By the time the good, the bad, and the ugly hit theaters, Clint Eastwood wasn't just an actor. He was a business partner. While his co-stars got one-time paychecks, Clint earned every time the movies played. That's when he realized, true power isn't in what you get once, it's in what you keep forever. When he returned to America, Clint was done being just a hired face. He'd seen how the system worked, and he wanted to build his own. Hollywood executives called him reckless. He called it freedom. So, he founded his own production company, Malpaso. The name, Spanish for bad step, was a tongue-in-cheek reminder of all the people who told him he was making a mistake. But that bad step became one of the smartest moves in Hollywood history. Through Malpaso, Clint didn't just act, he owned. Every decision, from the script to the editing room, went through him. He wasn't just in the movie. He was behind the machine. While other actors waited for offers, Clint made his own projects. He was efficient, fast, and disciplined, shooting on time, under budget, and without drama. Every saved dollar turned into more control. Piece by piece, he built an empire that ran quietly but powerfully. But Eastwood didn't stop at movies. He knew Hollywood could turn cold fast. So, he started investing beyond it, in land, hotels, golf courses, vineyards, and real estate across California. People thought it was strange for an actor to buy ranches instead of mansions, but Clint wasn't chasing image. He was chasing stability. The Mission Ranch in Carmel became his pride, a property he restored from the ground up into a beautiful resort. For him, it wasn't just an investment. It was a statement. Permanence over popularity. Despite his growing wealth, Clint lived surprisingly simple. He drove regular cars, wore modest clothes, and kept his lifestyle low-key. Friends would joke that he lived like a middle-class man who accidentally became a millionaire. But that was the point. The less people knew, the more control he had. He once said, "If you tell people what you have, they'll want a piece of it. If you tell them nothing, they'll think you have everything." That line wasn't just clever, it was a philosophy. In a city built on gossip, Clint made silence his greatest weapon. No scandals, no reckless spending, no leaks. He controlled his image like he directed his films, quietly, precisely, and without letting anyone see the full picture. That mystery made him unpredictable. And in Hollywood, unpredictability is power. Over time, Clint evolved from actor to institution. Malpaso became his fortress, a place where creativity and control met perfectly. He didn't follow trends, he built them. Movies like Play Misty for Me, High Plains Drifter, Unforgiven, and Mystic River carried his signature. Simple, moral, and deeply human stories told with precision and restraint. But that same control followed him home. Clint's need for order shaped everything, even his family life. Dinners were polite but distant. He rarely talked about money or legacy. He loved his kids, but his affection showed through trust, not gifts. He believed giving too much made people soft. Everyone, even family, had to earn their place, just like he did. Years later, when his financial documents surfaced, revealing the vast size of his fortune and the structure of his trusts, even his children were shocked. Some thought he lived modestly. They had no idea he was worth hundreds of millions. And what stunned them most wasn't the amount, but how it was divided. Some heirs received major shares. Others were left with symbolic or conditional inheritances. For a man who seemed so fair in business, this came as a surprise. When asked about it, Clint's answer was simple. "Those who worked with me know what they deserve." That line said everything. Cold to some, wise to others. For Clint, love didn't mean equal gifts. It meant fairness through effort. But for his family, that logic stung. Tears were shed, relationships strained, and admiration turned bittersweet. His independence, the very thing that built his empire, also built distance. Still, Clint never apologized. To him, emotion clouded discipline, and discipline was everything. He believed a man's worth came from control of his time, his choices, his reactions. Losing that control meant losing himself. To outsiders, Clint Eastwood was the definition of toughness, the cowboy who never blinked, the cop who stood alone. But behind that myth was a man of calm, reflection, and restraint. He studied life the same way he studied film, frame by frame, looking for truth under the surface. People who worked with him described him as soft-spoken but commanding, kind but distant, warm yet unreachable. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. His silence carried authority. He hated waste, of time, of money, of words. Everything in his world had a purpose. Meetings were short, decisions final. Yet behind that discipline was someone deeply aware of how fragile success can be. He knew fame could vanish overnight. That's why he built a life on things that couldn't be taken: ownership, integrity, and freedom. Journalists spent decades trying to uncover his full net worth. They traced real estate, art, film royalties, hidden companies, and still never reached the end of it. Whenever asked, Clint would grin that famous half-smile and say, "The best way to protect what's yours is to never talk about it." That wasn't arrogance. It was wisdom. He'd seen too many stars lose everything chasing validation. Silence was safety. As he grew older, control became more than strategy. It became identity. He didn't crave extravagance. He valued autonomy. Money, to him, wasn't status. It was freedom. And while he gave generously to charities, veterans' causes, and environmental projects, he did it quietly, often anonymously. Good deeds didn't need a spotlight. By the 1990s, Clint had achieved the impossible. Lasting fame without scandal, power without ego, and respect without noise. His films matured with him. Unforgiven explored the cost of violence. Million Dollar Baby confronted redemption and pain. Gran Torino dealt with legacy and mortality. Each movie reflected the man. Disciplined, honest, and deeply human. On set, he was known for efficiency. He spoke softly, shot fast, and trusted his instincts. Every choice had meaning. Every saved minute was another step toward independence. He turned filmmaking into precision, proof that simplicity, done right, can be genius. But even with all his control, one thing always escaped him: emotion. His obsession with order sometimes built walls where he wanted bridges. Family members, when they learned about his financial plans, didn't just feel hurt, they felt confused. How could someone so compassionate on screen seem so distant in real life? The answer, as always, lived in his silence. Clint believed life wasn't about what you gave, but what you earned. That belief became his legacy: quiet strength, focused discipline, and a mind sharper than anyone ever guessed. While others chased attention, he chased mastery. His success wasn't built on luck or fame, but endurance. He proved that true power isn't about shining in the spotlight. It's about knowing when to step out of it. Clint Eastwood's life is full of contradictions. A man of few words whose films speak volumes. A private man who moves millions. A figure who avoids attention yet commands it effortlessly. He lived like he directed, deliberate, efficient, and always in control. Independence gave him freedom, but it also cost him closeness. Still, for Clint, every sacrifice was worth it. Because to him, the ultimate prize wasn't wealth or fame, it was freedom. And that brings us to the end of this remarkable journey through the life of Clint Eastwood. A man who, behind Hollywood's spotlight and his iconic tough guy image, built a quiet and calculated fortune that even shocked his own family. His story shows that real power doesn't come from fame or applause. It comes from making fearless choices and keeping full control over your destiny. But those same traits that made him unstoppable on screen also created distance in real life. When his wealth and secret trusts were finally revealed, they left behind a mix of admiration, confusion, and heartbreak among those closest to him. Clint Eastwood stands as a rare figure. Someone who turned modest beginnings into lasting power, who learned how to multiply opportunity while staying disciplined and private. He mastered both the art of storytelling and the science of survival. Yet his success came with a cost: the emotional gaps that money can't fill. As we look at the hidden side of his life, it's hard not to feel both awe and empathy. For the artist who inspired millions, and for the man who quietly carried the weight of his own choices. So, what do you think? Was Clint right to keep his secrets until the end? Or did his family deserve to know the truth sooner? Let us know what you think down in the comments. I really want to hear your take. If this story surprised you, moved you, or even changed how you see Clint Eastwood, don't forget to hit the like button. It helps this channel reach more people who love deep, real stories like this one. And if you haven't already, subscribe. Your support is what keeps this channel alive, free, and independent. If you want to take it one step further, tap the Super Thanks button. It's a small way to show you believe in meaningful storytelling that digs beneath the surface. But even if you can't do that right now, your comment and your like mean the world. And before you go, don't miss the video that's popping up right now on your screen. I promise it's even more surprising and emotional than this one. Click it, and stay with me, because the untold stories of Hollywood are just getting started. See you there.